Hello. I think that we are live. If you can hear me, if you can see me, go ahead and let me know in the chat. Got your chat right here. Go ahead and introduce yourselves when you get online. Hello, Rhonda from Florida. Candy in California. I see Massachusetts. Diane from New Orleans. I'm actually going up to New Orleans, or down to New Orleans for Mardi Gras. Maybe I'll see you there. Hey, Kristen, Shelly, Robin in Oklahoma. South Carolina. That's where I am. Wisconsin, Shelly from Maryland. Amy in Northern Virginia. Kathy here from rain-soaked North Carolina. Yes, it has been raining so much here. Oh my goodness, England. Oregon. Awesome. Pennsylvania. Susan from South Carolina. Awesome to see you. All right, so it seems like everybody can see and hear me. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. Can you guys see that? Can you see the slides? Should say essential oil safety for cat owners on the screen. Can you see it? Yep. Oh, hi from Texas. Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. So of course, this is Essential Oil Safety for Cat Owners with me, Rachel. I am the owner and founder of The Essential Girl. What you can expect during this webinar, I'm going to talk to you about why certain essential oils are toxic to cats. I'm going to talk about how to figure out if an essential oil is either toxic or safe. I'm going to go over how to use toxic essential oils safely if you have a cat, and also some ways that essential oils could even benefit your cat. And this handsome boy on the right side of your screen is my cat Draco. He's actually named after the constellation Draconis and not the guy from Harry Potter, because I thought he kind of looked like the dragon from How to Train Your Dragon, and Draconis is the dragon constellation. And so I know that a lot of you already know me, and I also know that a lot of you don't. So I wanted to take some time to formally introduce myself to you guys before I got started. This is me. My name is Rachel Andorfer. I was educated at Clemson University. I got my BS in physics and then my master's in bioengineering. And actually, it was during my time getting my master's that I got into essential oils, and I actually dove right into it. I was one of those people who was like, ooh, essential oils, and I went and bought the starter kit, and I was like, oh, I can do this and this and this. And the guy I was dating at the time was like, hey, how do you actually know that these essential oil things can do everything that they say they can? And I was like, oh, that's a good point. I better do some research. So I started doing research online, and the thing that really frustrated me when I started doing that was that there really wasn't very good information out there. I got frustrated because like this person says this and this person says that, and nobody was really backing up their information with research. So that's kind of when I started the blog, The Essential Girl. I really wanted to be that person who was looking at the research and actually telling people what was going on in that area. And so that was more than 4 years ago now. And since then, I have made about 6 online courses where I teach people about the essential oils and the research behind them. And so that is me professionally. There's also a couple other things I wanted to share with you guys. I am a swing dancer. I go dancing pretty much every week. I'm also a body combat instructor. If you guys have never heard of that, it's a Les Mills program where it's kind of like shadow boxing meets Zumba. You should definitely try it if you ever get the chance. Aspiring scuba diver, and also, of course, you know, I'm a cat mom. This is Draco in his little fox costume for Halloween. It was so cute. So my mission as I mentioned earlier, is really just to spread that comprehensive essential oil knowledge to anyone who wants to learn. And that includes people who don't have the master's or the PhD to be able to actually read all of that research. And in addition to advocating for not just spreading the science of essential oils to everybody, but also for, I try to advocate for funding for the science of essential oils. I know that a lot of researchers have trouble getting money and grants to study this sort of thing. And so I also try to advocate for those people who are sitting there and doing the hard work so that we know what to do with our essential oils. Another thing I'm working on is removing the jargon barrier in science. And even if you're not in science, you've probably experienced this where you go to read a piece of research that somebody has linked to in an article and you're like, oh my God, I have no idea what this is saying. And that can be even true between scientists. Like if an astrophysicist writes a paper and a biophysicist writes a paper, like they probably can't even read each other's work because there's so much jargon intertwined into all of these fields. And so part of my personal mission with this blog and with you guys is to take all of that research and disseminate it in a really understandable way to everybody who wants to learn. And so through all of this, my biggest goal is to empower everybody to use essential oils both confidently and safely. I do get a lot of emails from people who have heard some of the horror stories of people who use essential oils improperly, or they're worried about their kids, or they're worried about their cats, and they're like, I can't handle all of this. I probably just shouldn't use essential oils at all just to be safe. And that makes me really sad because there are definitely very safe ways to use essential oils, and I really want to spread the information and help people learn the safety so that they can feel confident about how they're using essential oils. So enough about me. Let's go ahead and dive into our webinar content for today. We're going to start out talking about why certain essential oils are toxic to cats. So this is mainly because cats lack an enzyme called glucuronidase transferase. And without this enzyme, they can't break down phenols or monoterpene hydrocarbons. And yes, I don't expect you to know what that means right now. I'll talk about that in a minute. But basically what happens is that because cats can't break down a certain compound, it builds up in their system over time and leads to something called toxic buildup, which can have several symptoms, ultimately sometimes resulting in death of the cat. But don't panic, right? Okay, so if you're one of those people who's been using essential oils around your cat and you had literally no idea that essential oils could even be toxic to your cat, don't panic. It's okay, because toxic buildup can take months or even years to occur. It's something that happens really slowly over time, and depending on the dosage, you might go years without seeing a toxic effect on your cat. And that's also why you see a lot of people online saying, oh yeah, I've used such and such oil that everybody says is toxic to cats on my cat for years and it's been fine. It's probably because either the dosage has been really low or the cat has somehow avoided being exposed to it while they're using it. And if the dosage is low enough over time, like I said, you might not notice symptoms until it's too late. So if you are maybe worried that you've seen signs in your cat, things you can look for are lethargy, reduced appetite, skin rashes, things like that. And of course, these are really common symptoms of a lot of different other problems. So if you're worried, please do go see your vet. I am an essential oil expert, not a cat or medical expert. So if you're worried, just go see your vet. Most of you probably don't have to worry about anything. I've been using essential oils around Draco for several years now, safely, and he's been fine. So please try not to panic. So the big thing that I want to teach you guys today is how do you even tell if an essential oil is going to be toxic to your cat? There are 4 steps we could follow. Step number 1 is just to actually check the list of commonly toxic oils. This will be in your email as soon as the webinar is over. And a lot of you probably already have this list from me, but basically if you can check the list and it's on the list, then it's definitely toxic. But just because it's not on the list doesn't mean it's not toxic. So step 2, we'll be checking the GCMS report for those phenols and monoterpene hydrocarbons that I talked about. And we will go more into detail on that in a second. And if you don't know about GCMS reports, these next 2 steps won't make sense until we go over that. But we'll add up their percentages, and then if the percentage is less than 1%, then we'll know that the oil is safe to use around cats. So I'll start by showing you guys this list. If you've ever downloaded it from me before, this is what it looks like. It's totally free. If you've ever signed up for the Essential Library, or if you have taken my class where I specifically teach just this skill, then you have this list. And like I said, this is not a complete list. This is just all of the most common oils, and there are some herbs on here that are toxic to cats. And so this is your first go-to when you're trying to determine if an oil is going to be toxic to cats. But the next step, if it's not on that list, is to check the GCMS report. So phenols and monoterpene hydrocarbons, you're not going to see those words on this list. Phenol and monoterpene hydrocarbon are categories of molecules, and there are lots of different types of little molecules that fall into these categories. You can see an example of a GCMS report on the right, and if you've never even heard of GCMS, all that means is gas chromatography and mass spectroscopy. And so gas chromatography tells you how much of each thing you have, and mass spectroscopy tells you what each thing is. And so together we get this report of how much of each thing is in the essential oils that we have. And so any reputable company generally will offer this. If you are buying from a company that does not offer this, then I recommend that you stop buying from that company. It's really easy for these companies to put out these reports nowadays, and it just adds to that level of trust that you are getting the appropriate and high quality essential oil from them. So when you look at the GCMS report, you'll see this list or a similar longer list. This is actually a summary from the top of all the major constituents of oregano. And so for monoterpene hydrocarbons, they're really quite easy to identify because they generally have ENE at the end. So you see on this list we have cymene, terpenine, pinene, myrcene, terpenine again. All of these are monoterpenes. Not necessarily all of them are monoterpene hydrocarbons, but most of them on this particular list actually are. And so if you see that ENE ending, that's generally the quickest way to tell if a certain essential oil has one of those toxic components. A full list of all of the different components that are in either the phenol or the monoterpene hydrocarbon category is available inside my Essential Oils for Cats specialized training, which I will mention to you more later. But for right now, it's really easy to look for that ENE ending. And so the next thing that you would do is you would add up the percentages. If you see the column on the right, it tells you how much of each thing is in the oil. And you can already see just cymene, terpenine, all of them are above 1% on their own. So if you added them up, of course, they would be much higher than 1%. But a lot of essential oils have these in just trace amounts like 0.00 something percent. And so if you can add all of those up and have them be less than 1%, then the concentration over time for your cat will just be so low that we can definitely say that that will be safe for cats. And this number, this 1%, is actually a little fuzzy. So we don't have as much research as I would like on exactly what it takes to cause toxic buildup in a cat. So higher percentages might be safe, but I am under the philosophy of better safe than sorry. So I'm always going to be recommending things to you that are definitely safe. I would really hate if any of you pushed the limits too much and came back with a sick or dead cat. That would just be entirely tragic. So as long as we stick to that 1% rule, we know definitely for sure that we are safe. So of course, if you go through this process, you find out that a lot of essential oils are harmful to cats. Pretty much all of our favorite essential oils are toxic to cats. But that doesn't mean that we can never use them again or we can't use them in the house. It just means that we have to follow a few ground rules to keep them safe. So rule number 1 is to diffuse toxic oils only in rooms that your cat can't access. And I don't just mean you close the door while you're diffusing and then you let your cat in again when you're done. I mean rooms that your cat never goes in. Generally, this is a bedroom for most people, and the reason I put that limitation on it is, of course, when you diffuse essential oils, they disperse into the air, and then if you don't inhale them, they trickle down and fall on every surface in the room. So that's the carpet, that's the bed, that's the desk, that's the side table, like everything gets this little fine coating of essential oils. And at first, that's like barely anything. But if your cat is going in and out of that room all the time, they're going to get essential oils on their little paws. They're going to get it on their fur if they lay down in the carpet. And so, really, what you want to do is just make sure that your cat can't get any of that oil on them, because eventually, of course, your cat's going to lick it off and they're going to get it in their system, and it's just going to add to that little bit of toxic buildup over time. And so, of course, the way we get around this is diffusing behind closed doors, like I said, and the other way is using a personal diffuser. If you've never seen one, it's a little tube about this big, and it has a wick inside that you soak with an essential oil, and you can open up the cap and inhale and then close it back so that only you are the one being exposed to the essential oil and it's not getting all over the room or somewhere near your cat. Rule number 2 is to wash your hands after applying any toxic oil to your skin. And this is just because, of course, you're going to go and pet your cat at some point and it's going to get on their fur and they're going to lick it off their fur. So just as long as you wash your hands with soap and water, you should be totally fine. If you're one of those people who likes to put essential oils all over your body, places like especially your legs where your cat may rub around, just take care to wait until the oil has kind of soaked into your skin before you spend some more time around your cat. Rule number 3 is kind of obvious, but it has to be said. Keep your essential oils well out of reach of your curious cat. And this was actually a problem for me when Draco was a kitten. I had my essential oils underneath the bathroom sink. It was a cabinet that would close, but he was smart enough to get his little paw underneath the door. And luckily they were like also inside a case, so he didn't really get to them. But as soon as I figured out that he was getting into that cabinet, I had to move them, because you never know if you like set an essential oil in there and the cap isn't screwed on properly. You just really don't want to take that chance of your cat not only getting exposed to the toxic oil, but possibly overexposed if they spill it on themselves. All right, so rule number 4 is don't use toxic oils to clean areas that your cat hangs out. This is also kind of obvious, but needs to be said. If you're using any sort of cleaning spray, I definitely recommend not using it, especially where your cat sleeps or on a couch where your cat might lay down, even your carpet if your cat is walking around the carpet. I would restrict this to hard surfaces. And also, this can include the kitchen counter if your cat is mischievous. I know when Draco was younger, he used to get up on the counter all the time and try and lick the food off of the dirty dishes. So if your cat is like that, or if you're somebody who doesn't mind your cat being on the counters or the tables, that's fine. But really, all you have to do is make sure that after you use the essential oils to disinfect the surface, that you follow up with soap and water to remove the essential oils from the surface when they're done. And so I have spent a lot of time talking about, yes, all of these oils are toxic. How do we keep our cat safe? But there actually are essential oils that are not toxic to your cat, and they can actually help out your cat. One of the big ways that essential oils can help your cat is in reducing feline anxiety. If you have a cat, you know that many cats have trouble adjusting to change, new people, a new home, even a new litter box. My cat currently has two because he can't decide which one he wants to use. And so essential oils can help calm your cat through any type of transition, especially going to the vet. I know my cat hates being in the car, and so sometimes a little bit of essential oil can calm him down before we go ahead and make that trip. Also, essential oils can help repel fleas and ticks naturally. Harsh chemicals are not the only answer, even though sometimes the vet will have you believe that they are. Essential oils can not only be used on your cat, but you can also use some of the harsher ones around your house and your yard to keep pests at bay. Essential oils can also help support healthy skin and fur. Just like in humans, there are a lot of essential oils that can help with inflammation and wound healing and just general healthy moisturizing the skin and fur without a bath of any kind. So don't worry, you're not going to have to get your cat wet for any of this. And if you're interested in learning how to do all of these things with essential oils, I do have a new course out. It's called Essential Oils for Cats. It's one of the specialized training series. And inside this course, I teach pretty much everything you need to know to use essential oils with your cats. That includes the usage recommendations, the exact dosage information, as well as all the safety and contraindications for all of the oils that I recommend. These lessons are comprehensive yet very concise. I would say most of them average about 5 minutes. So it's a lot of information, but it's really not that hard to digest. And there are also a bunch of printables that will come with that. So inside the course, you will get, of course, the short informative video lessons with me. You'll get the list of oils toxic to cats. That'll be in there again for you to reference. You'll get the list of oils that are generally safe for cats. So these are more of the common oils that I've checked, and I've seen that generally they are safe. Also the list of toxic components to look for in maybe some of the more obscure oils or oils that you're getting from maybe a more obscure supplier or from a different region. There's also printable recipes for each oil. And of course, when you enroll in this course, you get priority access to me for any questions that you might have. So this is not currently available. It's available for pre-order, and the full course will be out on March 1st, which is approximately a week from now. So with this limited time pre-order, I'm offering $10 off the regular cost when I announce this to everybody else in a week or two. I'm going to be charging $60, and if you go ahead and pre-order it right now, you can get it for $50, and that includes everything you see below plus a lot more. And there is one more thing. Here is the deal. So you can get essential oils for cats before anybody else, before I announce it. Plus, I will give you the bonus course, Worth It or Worthless, absolutely free. Only if you act before the end of this webinar. So that gives you about 15-ish minutes. After I'm done here, I'm going to go and do a Q&A. I'm going to answer all of your questions, and then when I log off, I'm going to check the timestamp. To get this deal, you'll just use the same link available below this live broadcast on the page, and your bonus will be applied before the end of the day. Like I said, I will be checking those timestamps. If you're curious what Worth It or Worthless actually is, so if you've ever wondered why you should care which essential oil company to buy from or which essential oil company has the best essential oils, why it even matters that you're buying a high quality essential oil. Maybe you have a friend that's promoting a certain company and like you've heard good things, you've heard bad things, and you're not really sure if it lives up to the hype. Worth It or Worthless gives you the tools to evaluate all and any essential oil company and determine if they're selling you high quality oils or snake oil. Unfortunately, there are some companies out there who will sell not just imitation essential oils, they'll sell you essential oils that are pre-diluted so much and they don't tell you, or there's a bunch of fillers in there, or just plain crap. Like you don't even know what you're putting on or into your body when you buy them. And so by the end of this course, you would be able to read the GCMS results and know why they matter. You could determine what a fair price for an essential oil is, because even if a company is selling you good oils, I found a lot of companies do price gouge on that. So you can kind of learn how to determine what a fair price for that quality oil is. And compiling all this information, you'll learn how to create a report card for any essential oil company to determine if it's worth it or worthless. So what you can do, just click this image below the video. It should be just right down there. And this page will come up. You can see the big red button that says Enroll in Course. The discount is already automatically applied for you. So you literally don't have to do anything, just click the big red button and it will bring you to a page that looks like this. Again, the coupon discount is automatically applied, so there's no code or anything. And if you've ever bought any course from me in the past, or if you've enrolled in the free 4-day basics course, then you probably already have a login with Teachable, which is the site that this course is hosted on. And so if you do, you can go ahead and log in and everything should go through very smoothly. If not, it's really simple. I think they just ask for your name and your email and of course credit card, like all the normal stuff. It's very, very simple. It should take you just like a couple of minutes to go through. And once you're inside, you'll see your page of all the courses available to you like this. So if you had bought specialized trainings from me in the past, you would see all of them inside your portal as well as the new courses. And like I said, if you buy before I'm done with Q&A, I will personally go in and add worth it or worthless to your account before the end of today. All right, so here is the Q&A. I am going to come back on live video. And I'm going to scroll through the chat and check for your questions. If you feel like your question got buried in the chat, you can go ahead and resubmit it so I can see it near the bottom. So cute. Oh, thank you, Hannah. You guys have questions? Anything at all that you want to ask? I'll be right here to answer. You guys can see me, right? My silly little Sylvester decided to get in a fight yesterday. What oil would you suggest to help calm him and heal him? So in terms of calming, I recommend an oil called Ho Wood. It's H-O space W-O-O-D. It's really similar to lavender oil, but without the constituents that make lavender oil toxic to cats. So with that one, you could literally just diffuse it around the room and it should help calm your cat down. Do I have a webinar for dogs? I actually do not. Dogs aren't quite as complicated as cats when it comes to essential oils. It's something that I could look into doing in the future. But mostly dogs can handle essential oils about the same as humans can, except you have to adjust the dosage for their size. You use a lot of cedarwood. Yeah, cedarwood is generally safe to use around cats. It's actually really quite a powerful little oil, lots of different uses, especially around cats. Is this safe for Tigger? I don't know who Tigger is. If Tigger's a cat, then cedarwood is safe for your cat, just as long as you're not feeding it to him. It's safe to be diffused and also safe to apply to the skin at a proper dilution. Anybody else? Aw, thank you. You're welcome, Hannah and Sylvester. You should send me a picture of Sylvester and Tigger too. I love to see your cat pictures. When you guys send me cat pictures, that makes me so happy. Questions, questions. I'll be here for a few more minutes if you guys have questions. What about lemongrass? So lemongrass is not one that I recommend for cats. It does have a few of those toxic constituents in it. I will, but he's grumpy at the moment. Oh. I have been using thieves, eucalyptus, and tea tree oil to get rid of dust mites because I have a terrible allergy. Can you recommend a cat safe oil for eliminating dust mites? So actually, I have seen research that catnip oil is useful for what people call filth flies. It might also be effective against dust mites as well. I haven't seen too much research on the subject, but your thieves, your eucalyptus, and tea tree, I would be just really cautious about that around your cat. Because I know definitely the eucalyptus and tea tree oil are going to be toxic if your cat gets too much in their system. It really depends how you're using it. If you're like using it in like maybe the crevices or cracks of your walls or in your yard or something, then maybe that's okay. But definitely don't put it on a collar around your cat. Meowie Mama just enrolled. Awesome. I've pretty much stopped using essential oils for diffusing because I'm worried they would be a problem for my kitties. I've mostly just used them on my feet. I'm sorry that you felt like you had to stop using them. Like I said, a personal diffuser is a really good option. There are some from Plant Therapy that I really like. I think they're really cute. Other things you can try. So if you've seen the ads for those diffusers, Monk, MONQ, they look like little pens and you inhale from them. Those are also safe to use around your cats because you inhale through your mouth and exhale through your nose. And since most of the oils will get stuck in the olfactory system, as you exhale, you're not necessarily exhaling oil into the air where it could get to your cats. So those are safe as well as the sort of traditional personal diffusers that you might find. Lemongrass, no, it's not a safe alternative to lemon or citrus oils. It is like it is technically safer because it has lower amounts of those toxic oils, but it is still above the threshold that I would consider safe. Oh, yay! Hannah just enrolled too for Sylvester, already searching for Howood. Awesome. Yeah, you can find Howood on Plant Therapy's website, actually. Um, I didn't even know about it until I started researching essential oils that were safe for cats. It sounds like a very funny oil, doesn't it? Howood. Any more questions? Shelly, strapped through to life stuff. Yes. So the course or the webinar. So the webinar may or may not offer live again. Hopefully I will. But the course will be available from March 1st until pretty much forever. You can get it at any time on my website for the $60. I might offer a sale on Black Friday. if you want to wait until then, but it is going to always be available on the website for $60. Many EOs are blends. Shall I just check the individual oils? Yes. And also, the thing that you can do with the blends, if they list out every single essential oil, of course you can go through all of the steps, check if any of the oils are on the toxic list. And of course, if you find some of the ones that have the above 1% that's toxic, then probably you shouldn't be using the blend on your cat. Of course, you can still follow all of the safety rules to use it in your house if you want. But if any of the individual oils in the blend are toxic, then I wouldn't feel safe personally recommending that you use it literally on or around your cat. Shelly, you're welcome. Oh, Shelby forgot it was Easter and you're in Hawaii. Oh no, there will be a replay. So you'll get to go back and watch everything. Would I recommend doTERRA as a brand, as plant therapy is not available in the UK? Do you have perhaps Rocky Mountain Oils? That's what they're called. Rocky Mountain Oils is also a big company that I would trust to buy from if they're available in the UK. I don't really like to brand bash. In terms of doTERRA, I do feel like their oils are probably pretty high quality, but I do think that they overcharge. So I don't think that you're getting the best deal that you could, but I wouldn't worry about the quality of their oils. In terms of dust mites, mattress, couch, cushions before they are covered. I would say that one's iffy. Like I was saying earlier, we don't really have too much information about exactly what the threshold is in terms of exposure and what it takes to cause that toxic buildup. So if you do want to continue doing that, I just recommend keeping a close eye on your cats. It really is hard to say. I don't ever want to recommend something to you that would be detrimental to your cat. If you're covering them, it might be okay, as long as your cat as long as their fur isn't coming in direct contact with that oil. I think that I could classify that as probably safe. I'm sorry I can't give you a more clear answer on that. Is adding a few drops of essential oil to a bath dangerous to a cat even if he is not in the room but able to smell it in the house? So first of all, I want to address drops of essential oil in a bath. I hope that you're using something to disperse that oil other than just putting it straight in the water, because essential oils don't disperse in water. So what you actually could end up doing is having like a little blob of essential oil floating around your bathtub, and that undiluted essential oil could get on your skin, and that could be harmful to you. As for your cat, no, I don't think it's dangerous if you're using that and you can just smell it around the house. Of course, that does mean that there are little molecules of the essential oil getting around the house, but it is going to be just a really, really tiny amount, and I don't think that would be enough to negatively affect your cat over time. Essential oils for dry skin on a cat. Actually, so the biggest thing I recommend for dry skin on a cat is not an essential oil, it's a carrier oil. Coconut oil is probably the best thing you can do for dry skin on your cat. It's super safe for them if they lick it off. It's pretty cheap overall compared to essential oils, and it is known to be really, really moisturizing. Shelly, any insight into Now? Yeah, I don't really trust Now essential oils. I haven't been able to find GCMS results for them on their website. And like I was saying earlier, if I can't find that, then I generally won't trust the brand. I agree about doTERRA, yeah. If I use essential oils on my wrists or my neck for me that are toxic to my cat? Is it safe to use for me? Yes, it is. Just make sure that the places where you have applied the oil, you're not touching your cat with those places. And if you think that you might, you can apply the essential oil, kind of wait for it to soak in, and then use soap and water to wash anything that's still like residue on your skin off. Because the point of essential oils on your skin is to let them soak down into the bloodstream. So if you just wait like maybe 15 minutes or so, you should be able to wash any residue off of your skin and still get the benefits of that essential oil. Anybody else? Thanks for being here, you guys. This has been really great. Really great discussion, good questions. I'm glad I got the chance to answer all of these. Some of these are things that I hadn't really thought about before, so thank you for asking such insightful questions and allowing me to answer. Like I said, the replay will be available if you missed anything or if you want to go back and take notes. I'll be sending out the replay pretty much as soon as YouTube processes it and loads it up. You are very welcome, Shelly. Fur babies mean so much. Yes, they do. I wish my fur baby was around to say hi, but it looks like he's probably sleeping in the bedroom. All right, so if nobody has any more questions, I'm going to go ahead and log off. If you think of something later, you can go ahead and reply to the replay email, and I will try and get to your question. Remember, I will be checking the timestamp, so if you still wanted to go ahead and get the bonus course, Worth It or Worthless, for free, right now is the time to do that. I might set the cutoff for like 1 or 2 minutes after I get off here, so if you want that, go ahead and do that now. Robin, you're very welcome. Oh, another question. What if I'm using EOs for joint pain for me? My cat smells it and winces. Oh, yeah, a lot of cats actually know when an essential oil is bad for them. They'll kind of try and avoid it. I mean, it's the same way any animal will avoid something that is bad for it based on natural instinct. If your cat is uncomfortable around it, I would probably try and limit the exposure. Maybe it's something that you do before bed when your cat's not around, or in the mornings before you go out and see your cat. Yeah, mostly you can just make sure that your cat isn't coming in direct contact with the oil. If he's sitting right next to you when you're using it and smelling it and wincing it, then that's probably not good either. So at least go in a separate room to apply these essential oils, and hopefully that'll make both of you more comfortable. You're very welcome, Anonymous2242. All right, so that is it. I'm going to log off. Thank you guys for being here, and hopefully I'll see you again soon in the next webinar.